What is going on, guys? This is Sin. So I don't know if you've been following my channel as of lately, but not too long ago I made a video about the runic cards, and basically I never imagined them to be as good as they actually are, because they can do things I was just never really expecting. Because in my head it was just like an engine that you're only playing with Runic Fountain because you want to draw some cards, nice resourceful effects to get rid of some opponent's threats and stuff like that. But no, they can actually do way more than that. And I do believe that the Silent Forcer deck is maybe one of the best decks to be able to use these cards and not the engine in a really crafty and creative way. And I just felt like I had to show you guys. So yeah, you can do quite a lot of things while still playing hand traps and still playing your deck the exact same way you used to. So you're not really denaturalizing anything, and you're not splashing an engine in your deck. So even if Runic Tip and Runic Fountain get banned, it's not going to change anything. These cards are still really good, and that's exactly what I wanted to showcase in today's video. So before we go any further, make sure, of course, to smash the like and subscribe button. It would really make me extremely happy. Thank you so much in advance. You are the GOAT and the reason why I keep making these videos. And now let's get right into combo number one. Alright, so first things first, if you got any runic spell and pre-prep, look at what you can do. So pre-prep is going to be searching you for the Silent Forcing Blessing as well as Skull Guardian. Silent Forcing Blessing, Prayer actually. That can be used to ritual summon any light ritual monster, but you have to tribute light monsters from your hand or field whose total level equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster ritual summon. So at first I wanted to play Fenrir and the Horse Engine in the deck, and I was like, oh, that's free ritual material, but they're not light monsters. And I was like, okay, what cards can just easily be light monsters? And honestly, the answer was, I don't think there are any, until I realized that every single runic spell is a light monster. All you have to do is just summon the Sleipnir, and not only can you actually break boards with that card going second, you can like kind of farfa a monster. Even if it gets negated, it's fine. There's also an effect to special summon a token whenever a card is added from your main deck, the main deck to your opponent's hand. So you can use that when your opponent searches the Farking Kirin off of the Barong. So you can actually use the runic engine to do a lot of things, but also you can use the Sleipnir as a ritual material to summon the Skull Guardian, which is incredible. And when you summon the Skull Guardian, that's immediately combo because you get to search the Novox, and that places your continuous spell, and that gets you to summon your search the Soravis. And then you can special summon it right away because you do have a spell in your graveyard as well as the Silent Forcing Prayer. And just like that, we can actually end on a pretty decent board. If we don't have, really respect Nibiru, we can go into the Dynamunda, but that would be summon number 5, which is a little dangerous. And then we pass turn, and we get to revive back the Skull Guardian with the Dynamunda. That triggers the Novox, which gets to place the continuous trap. So if we don't want to go into the Dynamunda, we just don't, if we don't want to risk it with the Dynamunda, we just don't do that. But we will not have the trap card, which is basically a pop 2. But that is still an Omni Negate and a Solemn Warning, because Soravis can turn itself into the other Soravis, which, yet again, is literally a Solemn Warning that banishes, so that's pretty good. And again, this negates everything, and the continuous spell makes it so that your opponent can only attack your ritual monsters and can't target any of your monsters with card effects. So this is extremely inconvenient, and the fact that you can do this with basically any two-card combination is insane, because pre-prep, there is 9 copies of it in the deck, and I will cover this very, very soon. Alright, so combo number 2 is basically identical, but this time we have Freezing Curses as well as Silent Forcing Barrier, but every runic spell is the same if you want it to be a Sleipnir. So yeah, you're going to be searching for the Saphira, and then send the Prayer in order to search the Skull Guardian, summon the Sleipnir with the Freezing Curses, and then ritual summon by banishing the Saphira, and then you summon the Skull Guardian by using the Sleipnir. Search your deck for the Novox again, obviously, and then normal summon, get your trap card, and you can actually use the effect right away to special summon the Soravis. That's actually kind of insane. You don't have to go into Dynamunda either, because we already have the continuous trap card. Jesus, managed to mess that one up twice, and that would be yet again 3 interruptions because of the Omni Negate, the Soravis into the other Soravis, and the ability to pop 2 cards our opponent controls with literally any 2 cards. I can keep showing more combinations, but let's get it right into the deck profile. Alrighty, so if you already know me, you would know that I love making things very simple, so that's the reason why I organized everything for you guys, so that your eyes won't be bleeding, because, the worst feeling is when you look at a deck profile, nothing is in any order, and you're like, what the hell is going on? How are the cards interacting with each other? What are your starters? What are the good cards you want to draw and the bad cards? Don't worry, I got you. But I hope you also got me by smashing the like and subscribe button. Anyways, your 6 one-card starters are the 3 Diviner and 3 Novox. These cards single-handedly get all of your stuff going, so if you draw them, you're always ending on the same board that I just showed you guys, which is, you know, a decent board considering the fact that you can play a lot of offensive and defensive cards. But yeah, these are the cards you really want to draw. Now, the pre-prep as well as Saphira and Silent Forcing Barrier are not one-card starters, but in tandem with any monster that can be used as the ritual summon of the Skull Guardian, they become one-card starters. So in other words, pre-prep plus like Saravis or Skull Guardian or the other Saravis or the Trias Hierarcha would be full combo. Same thing with like Saphira or Silent Forcing Barrier. Because at the end of the day, every path leads to Rome. Pre-prep searches your Skull Guardian and the Silent Forcing Prayer. Saphira searches your Skull Guardian and sends the Silent Forcing Prayer but to mimic that effect in the graveyard. And then Silent Forcing Barrier searches Saphira, which does the same thing. So yeah, you got a lot of redundancy and consistency, and also this deck is inherently resilient through handshots. This deck is never losing to Nibiru because you're never summoning more than 4 times. And even if you are, you would have the summon of, you would have Skull Guardian to be able to negate it. And it's not even like Nib Imperm can do anything because, again, your barrier protects your monsters from being targeted by card effects, which is the most annoying thing ever. It's ridiculous. Veiler and Imperm are also pretty bad against this deck because you can dodge it with Trias Hierarcha, you know, by not caring about it, by drawing what you need, by searching when you need. There's so many search cards in this deck. And I think you guessed it, but Drool is honestly the only card that really shuts this deck down. Sometimes you can still make the Skull Guardian through the Drool. You're just not really ending on like a crazy follow-up, but sometimes it should be enough. Anyway, so like I said, 6 one-card starters and then 9 semi-one-card starters. They also work very well with the runic spells as I've showcased. And then we've got 2 of the ritual spells. This is not really good to draw, but if you play 3, it's gonna be like worse. It's gonna be less of a Garnet, but you're gonna be seeing it every single time because this card doesn't really do anything on its own. And as a matter of fact, as a ritual spell, it's pretty bad, but the graveyard effect of this card is fantastic because if one of your face-up light ritual monster leaves the field by opponent's card effect, you can banish it and then sheet out like any of your rituals, ignoring the summoning condition, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, 2 Saravis, that's another reason why this deck doesn't lose to Veiler and Imperm, by the way, because you can search this very easily, and if you get Veilered, you just negate, so you don't care. Saravis is a semi-handshot in the hand, and a Solemn Warning on the field. It's actually crazy to see that after all these years, summoning Saravis is no longer a meme. Like, this card finally found its place in a real deck. Beautiful. Anyway, Skull Guardian, this card is cracked, obviously. The main deck, the non-ritual Saravis that usually summons Saravis, but it can also summon Skull Guardian, so don't forget that. And then Trias Hierarcha, which you always send off of the Diviner, but sometimes you send the Herald of the Arclight. But usually sending Trias is better because then you can tribute the Diviner and then summon the Novox off of Diviner, which places your barrier, which then searches the Saphira, which searches that, and then you can ritual summon by using the Novox as a material, and that card is basically Shurit Strategist of the Necros. Yeah, this card is very stupid. I really recommend reading this card because everything revolves around Novox. This deck is the Novox deck. Yeah, more consistency cards, so 3 Pot of Prosperity. So we've got a lot of starters, a lot of semi-starters, a lot of ways to get your starters, a lot of cards that work very well with your starters, and they're defensive because we have 6 handshots as well as 2 runic tips, 2 flashing fires, 2 freezing curses, and 1 runic destruction. Nobody needs a runic fountain or, yeah, Hugin. Yeah, these cards are, nah, they're not good in this deck, right? No, 7 cards runic engine. That's all you can ask for. It's not even an engine. It's just like you're using them as instant fusions when you need to, or Forbidden Chalice, or offerings to the Doomed, or like MST when you have to. So yeah, they really answer and fix this deck's issues to the maximum. And they also give you a spot removal, which I also like a lot because sometimes you kind of struggle against a certain thing and you're like, I might need something. And the battle phase in this deck, by the way, doesn't matter because you're not OTKing your opponents anyways. So like the difference between dealing 0 damage and being much more consistent, or being less consistent and dealing 4100 damage with a Skull Guardian and passing turn is irrelevant. Like, who cares? But yeah, for the extra deck, we are on 2 Herald of Darklight, 2 Elder Entity Entis, another card that you can send with Diviner. The ratios are very up in the air. 2 Typhon. I used to play Extravagance, so that's why. 2 Dynamunda, 2 SPs, 1 Relinquished Anima, 1 Link Spider, because the Sleipnir can summon a token so that you can link it off into the Link Spider, and that would be your effect monster for SP Little Knight. And yeah, speaking of the Devil, 2 Sleipnir because it's your high-level monster so that you can summon it with that, and then use it as a ritual material for your Skull Guardian and Saravis. And finally, Gary for no reason. For the idea section, I mean, there's really no reason for me to waste too much time here, but a bunch of Super Poly targets and the Odd Eyes cards if you want to. With some Ultimate Slayer targets as well, because the extra deck in this deck is not tight whatsoever. So you can play like everything. You can play the Char Brigade monster that sends the Garura. You can play Golden Cloud Beast Malong. Your Odd Eyes Pendulum Grab Dragon can summon Vortex, or Odd Eyes Wing Dragon, or Odd Eyes Meteor Burst. Anything, you name it. Mirologic Aggregator as well, another Ultimate Slayer target. Salman Great Almirage for no reason. I don't know why this is here. And then the Dear Servant, which I really don't recommend. That used to be like my old list, but it wasn't really good, honestly. Like, yeah, sure, I'm sending like Garura, then I search Maximus, and then I send Herald of Arclight, but it's not even like a one-card combo, so it's not even that great. And then, yeah, Ultimate Slayer, obviously this card is very good in the side deck, definitely citing 3 copies of that. And finally, Preparation of Rites, which is actually really bad. Pre-prep is much better because it searches 2 cards. This searches only 1 card. Or like a ritual spell from the graveyard to the hand, but from the graveyard to the hand, bro, like that's garbage. Nah, we're not doing that. Like, pre-prep isn't even that good if you're not playing the runic cards, for example. If you're playing like 12 hand traps in this deck, bro, you're gonna be breaking left and right. Because again, I've been playtesting this deck for hours and hours and days and days and days. And that's what I came to, that's why I came to this conclusion of playing the runic cards in this deck. Yeah, that's all I had for this video, so I hope I was able to inspire some of you guys to maybe reconsider your strategy on you know, the Silent Forcer deck. I think it's a really good deck, and I can't wait to play it in real life. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.